What if the most dangerous weapon of World War II wasn't a gun, but a voice? In the early 1940s, both sides discovered that radio waves could be used to manipulate, deceive, and control. From secret bunkers across Europe, engineers and linguists began broadcasting fake messages, false commands, fabricated distress calls, and entire divisions that didn't exist. This was the birth of phantom radio. The air became a battlefield no one could see. Each side fought to dominate the frequencies, to make their lies sound more real than the truth. Every signal carried power. Every transmission could change a mission, a movement, even a life. Have you ever wondered what would happen if the enemy could speak with your own voice? By 1942, the War of the Airwaves had grown intense. Allied intelligence launched a top-secret division known as the Black Radio. Their mission: spread confusion deep inside the Axis territories, using fake broadcasts that sounded authentic, down to the last accent, the last pause. Actors posed as German officers, reading false orders to entire units. Others broadcasted news of imaginary victories to break enemy morale. Meanwhile, in Berlin, Nazi propagandists fired back. They created Radio Calais, pretending to be British voices, urging soldiers to surrender. Both sides played the same deadly game, making truth disappear beneath a storm of static and lies. It was no longer about who had more power, but who could make their story sound believable. Somewhere in a dark basement near London, a group of engineers worked night after night to build transmitters powerful enough to reach deep into Germany. Their voices became ghosts, floating across the continent, invisible but deadly. Every night they risked being located. Enemy direction finders searched for their signal, triangulating their position. If caught, the operators could be executed as spies. But they continued night after night, spreading confusion where bombs could not reach. Their tool was deception. Their courage was silence. Would you speak, knowing your words could get you killed? In 1944, as D-Day approached, the phantom radio took on its most crucial role. Fake transmissions created entire divisions that didn't exist. Just like the Ghost Army on land, they broadcasted false invasion plans, misleading the German command into expecting attacks in the wrong places. Planes flew in silence, but the air buzzed with lies. The enemy's radar picked up signals of troop movements that were nothing more than sound, waves, and clever timing. By the time they realized the deception, it was too late. The invasion had already begun. The invisible soldiers had done their job. When the war ended, the heroes of the phantom radio returned home unnoticed. Their voices faded from the air, their names erased from records. For decades, few knew how much their invisible war had shaped the outcome of the real one. They didn't wear medals, they didn't march in parades, but they had fought in silence and won. It was proof that in war, information could be stronger than steel. So ask yourself, in a world where truth can be engineered, how do we know what to believe? What happens to a voice once it stops being heard? After the war, the airwaves grew quiet. The transmitters were dismantled, the codes erased, and the operators scattered back into civilian life. But their invisible war had changed everything. The art of deception through sound became the foundation of modern psychological warfare. Every radio broadcast, every coded signal, every trick they invented was studied and improved for future conflicts. The men and women of the phantom radio never saw themselves as heroes. They were just people who refused to give up, even when no one could see their battle. Persistence was their true weapon. In the decades that followed, technology advanced, but the lessons of the phantom radio remained. They had proved that information could win wars, and that courage doesn't always need an audience. Their work lived on quietly in intelligence agencies, in propaganda strategies, in every invisible signal that moves through the air today. Their story reminds us that victory often belongs not to those who shout the loudest, but to those who stay the course, who keep sending their signal, no matter the noise around them. They fought in silence, but their persistence echoed louder than bombs. Even now, historians find fragments of their transmissions in old archives, ghost signals buried in static, still whispering across forgotten frequencies. It's as if the air itself remembers them. Each message was more than a code. It was a symbol of faith, creativity, and endurance. Because persistence is not about never failing. It's about transmitting again after every failure until your voice is finally heard. And in that way, the phantom radio never stopped broadcasting. Its signal became eternal. So, what can we learn from these invisible heroes? That even in a world of chaos, truth finds a way to survive. That no invention, no deception, no voice truly disappears. It just changes frequency. Their story is a reminder that constancy builds history, that persistence outlasts power, and that even the quietest efforts can change the course of the world. So next time you doubt your impact, remember this. Someone once fought an entire war armed only with sound and won, because persistence is louder than fear. Can truth have a frequency? In the final months of the war, the air was filled with confusion. Real messages, fake ones, overlapping in chaos. But hidden among them were voices that refused to be silenced. Those who worked on the phantom radio believed that one message, one clear sound of truth, could cut through all the lies. And they were right. While propaganda shouted loudly, their quiet persistence spoke deeper. Each coded word they sent carried something stronger than strategy. It carried hope, because even in war, hope needs a transmitter. After 1945, the technology of deception evolved into something bigger: the Cold War, the space race, and the age of global media. But the spirit of the phantom radio never vanished. Its legacy lived on in journalists who risked their lives to tell the truth, in resistance movements that used radio to unite, and in every hidden voice that refused to be erased. Those invisible soldiers became symbols of something far greater, that the search for truth is a battle that never ends. Ask yourself, in a world full of noise, can you still recognize the sound of truth? The frequency of truth doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, steady, quiet, constant. It lives in those who keep going when no one's watching, in every creator, soldier, or dreamer who continues broadcasting. Their message even when it seems no one is listening. Persistence isn't just endurance. It's faith in your signal. The belief that what you send out will one day reach someone who needs it. That's how they won their invisible war. And that's how we continue to win ours. The story of the phantom radio is more than a tale of war. It's a message to every generation that follows. No matter how loud the lies, no matter how thick the noise, the truth always finds its frequency. Because courage doesn't need an army. It needs a voice, one that refuses to fade. So, if you've ever felt invisible, remember them. They proved that even silence can echo forever. Keep your signal alive, because someone, somewhere, is still listening.